Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. We have a very long overdue video. This is my embroidery and book cover design process of making a book cover for Anne of Green Gables by Montgomery, one of my favorite classics. This was actually part of my thesis project. My last year of uni, my senior year of college, I went to the Fashion Institute of Technology in New York City for illustration, and I filmed my whole process in April of 2021. I had the intention of posting this video much sooner, and I never posted it, so now I'm going to be posting it because I am going to be having an Etsy restock very soon. I will be putting up a separate Etsy video with all the information about the prints and the different things that I will be restocking and that I will be stocking for the very first time. I have 2 new items, which I'm very excited about, and one of those new items is a bigger sized print of some of my book cover redesigns. If you guys go on my website, it's always in my description, you guys can see all of my author portraits, all of my book cover redesigns, some YouTube stuff, and a little information about me, and also my illustrated story, The Icicle, which I would love to share more of my short stories in the future, but I've just been trying to do all these different things and trying to, you know, get one thing done at a time, but I want to do all these things. There's only so much time. Anyway, so today I will be showing you guys my whole process of embroidering the cover for Anne of Green Gables, which looks like this. I don't know how well you'll be able to see it, but this is what it looks like. So I didn't show you the entire process of me putting the fabric on the frame or anything. My dad actually built me this wooden frame, and I just stretched a piece of cotton material. My sketch was first drawn on Procreate on my iPad, so I drew it with the pencil, and then over the pencil I just embroidered. I am not a professional at embroidery. This isn't really a tutorial, this is just watch me as I do it, and I'll try to explain, I guess, the meaning or symbolism behind why I chose whatever I chose, like the designs and the details and everything. But if you are looking for embroidery tutorials to get into embroidery, there are so many wonderful ones on YouTube, and certain things that I do on here, like French knots. Every time I do a French knot, which is a certain type of embroidery stitch, I always have to look it up to see how it's done. Basically, I'm not a professional, so this isn't a tutorial, but this is just my little process. So anyway, why I wanted to post this now is because of my Etsy restock. One of the prints that I'm going to be having available to you guys is the front cover of the embroidery. So this is the front cover of the book. Obviously, it says Anne of Green Gables by Montgomery, and then this is the back of the book. So let me explain that a little bit better. So the way that I did it was, for jacket designs, you have to kind of make it in the way that it will be folded. So this is the cover, and then the spine, and then the back, and then these are the 2 French flaps that will turn into the book on the inside. So that's why it's laid out like this. But as the prints go, I just have an option of the front and the back. So these are going to be sold together, and I have my Anna Karenina cover and my Call Me By Your Name cover. Those don't have backs, so it's just one image, but these come with 2 because it has a front and a back. The front obviously is just the Anne of Green Gables, and then the back says, "Dear old world, you are very lovely and I'm glad to be alive in you," which is one of my favorite quotes from Anne of Green Gables. Anyway, and then on the back it just has a few of my illustrations that you can find on they're my tattoo design illustrations that I do for my reels and my YouTube shorts, and then it has my contact information in case you guys want to reach me in any way. So yes, that is pretty much what the prints are. I did want to say one other thing. A few of you guys asked if I could do actual book jackets so that you could wrap them around your books, and that would be my dream. That would be incredible. I would love to do that so much. It's a little difficult because I would have to know proper sizing, and there are so many different editions of Anne of Green Gables that I don't really know what size jacket I should make, and I don't know if there is a printing company that I could use that would make it to the proportions that I need. So it needs to be worked out a little bit more. Maybe someday I can figure out how I can print my own book jackets that you guys can just put on your book covers. I would love that. But for now, we have prints that you guys can frame if you want, or tape them onto your wall, or do whatever you would like with them. But anyway, without me further babbling on as I do best, I will take you through the process of embroidering this book jacket, and I really hope that you enjoy watching. Okay, so here we have the first stage of the embroidery, which was just my pencil sketch of the sketch that I did on my iPad on the fabric, and then from here I started embroidering right on top of the lines of my sketch. Here I'm working on the far left French flap, and this is inspired by one of my favorite scenes from the book, and the chapter is titled A Tempest in the School Teapot. Gilbert Blythe wasn't used to putting himself out to make a girl look at him and meeting with failure. She should look at him, that red-haired Shirley girl with the little pointed chin and the big eyes that weren't like the eyes of any other girl in Avonlea school. Gilbert reached across the aisle, picked up the end of Anne's long red braid, held it out at arm's length, and said in a piercing whisper, "Carrots, carrots." Then Anne looked at him with a vengeance. She did more than look. She sprang to her feet, her bright fancies fallen into cureless ruin. She flashed one indignant glance at Gilbert from eyes whose angry sparkle was swiftly quenched in equally angry tears. "You mean, hateful boy," she exclaimed passionately. "How dare you?" And then, thwack! Anne had brought her slate down on Gilbert's head and cracked it. Slate not head, clear across. This is now the back cover of the book jacket. As you can see, I'm just stitching a little book because I wanted to have some kind of book as part of the motif. And then I added leaves, which turns into stitch work. And then as you can see to the left of the book, there is a little needle. And I wanted it to just sort of have this kind of transformative aspect of these leaves turning into different things. It's kind of like on the front cover, Anne's braids turn into some natural elements as well. And then on the bottom I also added a little teacup, and on the cup itself are more leaves just to mimic the rest of the design and to match it. And then this is the back. I'm just tying some knots to make sure that it doesn't unravel. I chose this quote for the back because I feel like it perfectly encompassed what I wanted the whole jacket to say, and that is the connection that Anne has to nature and the transformative powers that nature and Anne have on each other. I feel like the way that Anne describes nature, she really brings it to life for the reader, as well as nature and the setting itself bringing Anne to life for the reader. The setting has such a huge role in the person that she becomes and how she acts and behaves, and we wouldn't have our Anne without nature, and we wouldn't have Anne's nature without Anne. And here I'm stitching a butterfly, and you can see on the left I have a hummingbird, and I also have an owl, and then on the other side we also have a squirrel. So I just wanted to have some animal friends because Anne does love herself some animal friends. For some reason, I didn't have any footage of me weaving in her hat, but I did put these pictures in just so you guys could see. That was one of my favorite parts, actually, of the embroidery process. Now I'm just working on some leaves and flowers that she wove into her hat. Again, this is very Anne of her. Now I'm working on some French knots, which will be the flowers. So basically you take the thread and you wrap it around the needle, and then you push the needle through, and the thread that you wrapped around the needle kind of forms a ball, and it's supposed to sort of look like a flower, and I just love how these look. French knots are one of my favorite things to embroider. They are just so fun, and I love the texture that it gives. Like, I love the texture of the woven hat, I love the texture of the French knots. I really wanted it to have a lot of different kinds of stitches, and I'm just so happy with how it came out. Now I'm bringing the white thread through to other parts of the cover, bringing it into the animals as well as adding more flowers, and now I'm working on her hair. This part was so much fun. I loved working on her braids. It was very therapeutic, and I just enjoyed the process so much. So here I'm taking two different orange shades. This one I'm doing every other kind of section of her braid, and then you will see later on I'm going to go into the empty spaces, so now it's filled with a slightly darker shade of orange. So it's a little yellow orange and then a cooler orange, which I just love the combination of. I didn't want her braids to get too lost in each other. I wanted you to be able to see the shape of her braid and the texture, and so again I'm just focusing a lot on color and texture because that's the main point of embroidery. And so now I'm doing more French knots back on the back cover. As you can see, I added white to the book and the teacup, and again, French knots are the best, so I'm doing orange French knots to add more color. I wanted the whole jacket to be very cohesive with the colors and the textures and the different stitches that I did. I wanted it to all blend very well together. Here I'm doing kind of a cross-stitched version of Green Gables, which is the house that Anne lives in with Marilla and Matthew. And again, I kind of wanted this to sort of look like Anne did it herself, so she cross-stitched her own Green Gables. So the main colors that I'm working with are of course orange, red, white, and brown and green. So I'm bringing all of those in throughout the whole composition just to make it again very cohesive. Now another color that I added is dark gray, which also matches the slate color that you will see on the other flap. Here I'm working on the fox, but we will get back to him in a little bit. Now we are working again on the slate, and I am just adding in the carrots lettering, which is drawn onto the slate, or it's supposed to look like it's drawn onto her slate. And this is because she whacks the slate across Gilbert's head when he calls her carrots, because she does not like to be called carrots because of her red or orangish hair. Now we are working on the fox again. I am just giving him his fur. I also gave him a green eye, again trying to be cohesive and bring all the colors throughout the whole image. Now, in my opinion, I think foxes and Anne of Green Gables go so perfectly together, so that is why this little guy is here. He is also walking around the portrait of Ellen Montgomery, kind of again like one thing turning into another thing, the transformative aspect that I wanted to capture. Now I'm working on more flowers. The big one in the middle I didn't film because I was trying to do that for the first time and didn't know how it would come out. But I did film some more French knots because those I love so much, as you guys know. And then I'm working into her hair, and that is pretty much it. That is all that I filmed. So I hope that you guys enjoyed watching my process. Alright, so that is me embroidering the book jacket for Anne of Green Gables. It was so fun for me to go back and edit it all together because it's so fun to watch the process after doing it and relive it in a way. I love making you guys a part of my artwork and my journey with all my different creative things. I also actually wanted to point out, before I forget, that this idea was actually inspired by the Penguin Deluxe editions. So these are the Penguin threads, and they are directed, the art director is Paul Buckley, and he is the art director for all of the Penguin Deluxe editions. He is such an incredibly talented art director and designer, and this is the Wind in the Willows cover. So as you guys can see, it is fully embroidered. Let me put it over here because the lighting is funny. Yeah, so it is fully embroidered, and like mine, it has French flaps, and then on the inside it has the opposite side of the embroidery, which I just think is so incredibly clever. And then those are the other ones that are in the collection, and this is just what it looks like, which is just so beautiful. So this was my inspiration behind embroidering the cover, as well as Anne in the books learns to embroider. So embroidering does play a role in the actual story because Anne embroiders. So that's what I wanted the cover to kind of look like. I wanted it to look like Anne maybe even embroidered it herself. This jacket design is by, cover art is by Rachell Sumpter. Yes, series creative director is Paul Buckley, Penguin Threads, which is just it's such an incredible series. I love them so much. I also have the cover of Emma, which I also have up here. So here is Emma by Jane Austen, which again is just so beautiful. Oh my goodness. Look at those French flaps. I love it. And then again on the inside we have the opposite side of the embroidery. This cover art is by Jillian Tamaki, who is such an incredible illustrator. And then this is the other side, which again is just so beautiful. I know some of them are still sold in stores. I believe you can get The Wind in the Willows in stores or online, and also I have seen The Wizard of Oz. That is my inspiration, and yes, so anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed seeing my whole process, and you guys know how much I love cover design. I've been talking about it a lot recently. I would love to keep making it part of my channel. I would love to know if there are any specific videos that you guys would want from me about cover design, or keep making certain videos like this with make a cover design with me. I have a few ideas in mind of videos that I want to do involving cover design that I think would be really fun and that I hope that you guys would enjoy. But anyway, let me know your thoughts and what kind of art videos you would like to see from me, because I would love to make more art videos that relate to books. Let me know your thoughts. So I hope you're having a fantastic day, reading some amazing books, and I will see you soon in another video. Happy reading!